If you're wondering why we have to do this, the answer is self-evident. This is why the fault of Joe Biden, the Democrats' desperate efforts to replace all of us American citizens with the third world. The Democrats could see that they were losing popular support. They were losing their American citizen constituents, so they had to replace us. They had to replace us with the third world. Did you know that in all 50 states, self-defense law, not gun law, but self-defense law, uses a simple 5-element test to see if your use of defensive force was legally justified? And that same test applies no matter what state you're in or what tool you use to defend yourself. If you're missing even one of those required elements, however, you've made yourself an easy conviction for an aggressive prosecutor. My name is Attorney Andrew Branca, and I've worked more than 30 years as a self-defense attorney. Every state has seemingly endless, complex pages of laws regarding self-defense, so complex that many top criminal defense attorneys rely on my expert analysis to help win self-defense cases for their clients. If the legal code is that complex for lawyers, how can a citizen gun owner expect to know or even follow the law, especially when a life or death situation has triggered a massive, adrenaline-fueled mandate to make that fight or flight decision right now? It seems daunting. Yet I created a simple but powerful framework that has allowed me to serve the legal community and countless American gun owners to simplify this legal complexity into just 5 elements of self-defense law. And you can learn my 5-element legal algorithm I use to consult on and win with the top criminal defense attorneys all over the country to protect law-abiding, gun-owning citizens from making innocent legal missteps that land them in prison. Now, with a simple read or listen, you can install my 5-point legal framework so it acts as a sort of muscle memory defense to protect you from losing your rights when you choose to defend innocent human life. Click below to get the latest edition of my book, The Law of Self-Defense Principles, for free. I ask only that you help cover the shipping and handling cost to get the book to you. This was a raid on a club maybe 20 miles from where I live, Colorado Springs, Colorado. The immigration Immigration Customs Enforcement did a raid on this club in Colorado Springs. Lots of Hispanics in Colorado Springs, and apparently a lot of illegal criminal migrants, because they picked up over 100 from this one club on this one evening. There were about 200 people in attendance, and more than half of them are illegal criminal migrants. Also, security was being provided by American military personnel. That's a little curious. We'll hear more about that as well. I'm going to start calling these exercises, these raids. You know, we're told we have to have the illegal criminal migrants in our country. Who else would harvest all the fruits and vegetables? Well, harvesting works both ways, folks. I'm going to start calling these Trump's illegal criminal migrant harvesting operations. We are harvesting them, and we are shipping them back home. There's no place like home. I don't care where they go, but there's no place like home. Click your heels. You're on your way. I hope you enjoyed your brief visit, but that time is over. I guess you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. And by the way, you're going. You are going. So let's see if I can expand this. That doesn't look too bad. And let's take a look at what we have here. We're going to see people flood out of this building, and the heavily armed ICE response, they have obviously plenty of personnel here to enforce their will upon the people streaming out of this building, I'm sure hoping to escape, to live free in America another day. But it was not to be. It was not to be. They are all getting packaged up in Trump's harvesting operation. Make myself a little bit smaller here. There we go. That's better. And let's go ahead and jump in. Oh. All right, that was the first video I wanted to share. We have another video from the same, whoops. Another video from the same raid, taking a short while later. Everybody's getting comfortable for the return home. You know, I keep telling people that I believe we have 100 million illegal criminal migrants in our country, 100 million of them. And they tell me, Andrew, you're crazy. All the estimates are like 10 million, 20 million, maybe 40 million. Folks, when we can drop into one club in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and pick up over 100 like that, we could do this 1,000 times a day in cities all over America and pick up similar numbers easily. We know where they are. We know where they are. They're hanging out in clubs. Here's another video clip. Same club, Colorado Springs. No, I don't hang out there. I don't hang out there. Here's another video. Those are the buses. they have whole tour buses, whole commuter buses, all lined up. Oh, pobrecito. Oh, he's cuffed up. All right. I think I have another. Oh, this is an interview with a DEA special agent in charge. Jonathan Pullen describes the federal operation this morning in Colorado Springs. Some active duty military, as well as gang members and many people in the U.S. illegally, were among those detained. Active duty military. Let's hear what he has to say about that. I believe the active duty military were pulling security for the club.
Jonathan, give us some perspective here. 300 law enforcement officers. What brought about this kind of requirement, this kind of need to be here with that show of force?
So this is an underground illegal nightclub, okay? And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there. We had active duty service members who were running security at the club and involved in some of these crimes. And in fact, we had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well. And those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
Active duty service members helping as security here. Can you elaborate on that at all?
So it's an ongoing investigation, but we had over a dozen active duty service members in the club tonight, either as patrons or working as armed security.
So just think about a nightclub in your neighborhood, folks. You have a nightclub in your neighborhood, and there's 100 people there, right? What percentage of your community's population is likely to be in that club? It's a tiny percentage, right? These 100 people who were caught, these 100 illegal criminal migrants who were caught in this nightclub, they probably represent 1% of the illegal criminal migrants living in that community. Not everybody went to the nightclub. And we just stopped by and picked up over 100 of them like that. Active duty military. I think I may have another video of this guy. Let me pull it up. I'm not sure if it's covering the same content. It's from a different camera angle. Maybe it's a little different. Let's see. Maybe he's got more details. Here we go. Whoops.
So good morning. John Pullen with DEA and the Rocky Mountain Division. We're here on the scene of an underground nightclub where over 300
This is going to be about 2.5 minutes, folks. It's a little longer clip.
Federal law enforcement, along with our local partners from El Paso County and Colorado Springs PD, executed an enforcement operation this morning. It's a drug investigation. We seized quite a number of guns and took a number of people into custody. I think what I'd like for people to know as a result of this operation is that Colorado Springs is waking up to a safer community today.
Jonathan, give us some perspective here. 300 law enforcement officers. What brought about this kind of requirement, this kind of need to be here with that show of force?
So this is an underground illegal nightclub, okay? And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence.
Active duty service members
In the club tonight, either as patrons.
I'm going to skip a little ahead because part of this we heard already.
Or working as armed security.
Let's see.
As an active duty.
security here. Can you elaborate on that at all?
So it's an ongoing investigation, but we had over a dozen active duty service members in the club tonight, either as patrons or working as armed security.
How many of those were detained and what are they facing right now?
So Army CID was one of our partners out here, and they're going to work with us on what the next steps for those active duty service members looks like.
You mentioned that this is a drug trafficking operation. Can you elaborate on any drugs you found, the amount, any charges you anticipate that could come out of tonight?
So as you may suspect, when the cops showed up at the door, most of the drugs hit the floor. And we did find cocaine. It looks like some pink cocaine or the Tusi. And there was a little bit of other drugs, but we haven't had time to test everything. But there were dozens of small packages of drugs that they've recovered so far that I have personally seen.
How we got off to this location?
This has been a long-term investigation by DEA and a number of our federal partners. And so we've been working on this underground nightclub for a number of months, doing undercover surveillance, a lot of other work to identify what's going on here. And again, months-long information about drug trafficking and prostitution happening inside.
Okay, so a little bit of overlap there. And this was not the only raid. At the same time, over the weekend, we had a raid in Florida. Operation Tidal Wave. Operation Tidal Wave arrested over 780, almost 1,000 illegals. Like that. 1,000 is a million, folks. We could be doing this 1,000 times every single night all over the country and be picking up a million a day, which is about the pace we need to deport 100 million illegal criminal migrants in our country. So here we have breaking Operation Tidal Wave, arrested over 780 illegals in an operation in Florida. This is just a preview of what's to come throughout the nation. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin had to say on Fox News. So let's hear her on Fox News.
Nearly 800 illegal migrants were rounded up in just about 4 days, including a man convicted of homicide in Colombia, an MS-13 gang member from Guatemala, a Russian illegal who was actually wanted by Interpol, and a suspected Honduran gang member. So it sounds like a major success, at least from the outside. But I'm wondering, will we see more operations like this? And are you planning on working with, say, other states in a similar fashion?
Kevin, this was a major success. It was a large scale operation. And to your point, this is just a preview of what's to come throughout the nation. We have partnerships under 287G authorities that Secretary Noem signed, and this empowers state and local law enforcement to actually be able to use their enforcement authority to carry out immigration enforcement. And what that means is they can actually make arrests and clean up our streets, get these criminal aliens off of our streets. So like you said, almost 800 aliens, including MS-13 gang members, convicted murderers, rapists, all these people are now off of our streets who otherwise have been acting with impunity and terrorizing U.S. communities. You're going to be seeing this throughout the country. And I think that Americans are going to be really thrilled the results under this administration in the next 100 days.
Tricia McLaughlin, thank you for taking time with us. Really do appreciate it. All right. As you heard in these.
Whoops. Okay. And if you're, let's say, I think I may have another video on this Yep, this is again Florida, Operation Tidal Wave, Florida ICE raid. Let's see. Well, it looks like just still images there. But folks, if you're wondering why we have to do this, the answer is self-evident. This is why. This is why. This is all the fault of Joe Biden and Joe Autopen Biden, whoever was pulling his strings, and the Democrats' desperate efforts to replace all of us American citizens with the third world. The Democrats could see that they were losing popular support. They were losing their American citizen constituents, so they had to replace us. They had to replace us with the third world. Millions and millions and millions brought in. Here it says, here's one that says under Kamala. Of course, it was really under Biden. Not that it really makes any difference. This tells the story, folks. These are the 4 years of Joe Autopen Biden and his efforts to destroy the America we know and love. That's why all of this is necessary. And Trump is going after these people wherever he can find them. Now, fortunately, there tend to be, because they are illegal criminal migrants, guess where they tend to show up? With unusual frequency. The courts, criminal courts. So ICE has been going to criminal courts because we can learn when people are supposed to appear in court and making arrests in court. Here's one example. ICE arrests a Virginia man. They call him a Virginia man. We have Maryland men. We have Tampa Bay moms. Now we have a Virginia man. You think he was born in Virginia? I don't think he was born in Virginia. I think he's an illegal criminal migrant in Virginia, in criminal court. ICE arrests Virginia man in courthouse raid right after the judge dismissed the case against him. Why do you think the judge dismissed the case? On the legal merits? Or because the judge is well aware that if she doesn't dismiss the case and he remains in detention, ICE will show up to grab him from detention. So these judges routinely dismiss cases against illegal migrants to save them from being hassled by the immigration authorities. All these claims that you see that immigrants commit crimes at a lower rate than American citizens, it is a lie. It is a lie because the numbers are cooked. They're cooked in a number of ways. We'll see one in a moment. But they're also cooked because these same judges that are supposed to be enforcing our criminal laws against violent criminal predators routinely give these illegal criminal migrants a pass. So, of course, they're not recorded as committing crimes because they're not being appropriately charged and prosecuted. These judges are just letting them go. If you let American criminals go in the same manner, they'd have a very low crime rate too. It's all a lie. This person writes, agents had no badges, refused to show a warrant, then put them in an unmarked van. Do you have to have a warrant to make an arrest? No. Does anybody believe these guys didn't have badges? No. Maybe the person saying this didn't see a badge. Why would they not show a badge? There's no reason for them to do that. These people, if they did not have lies to tell, like Maryland man, Virginia man, Tampa Bay mom, 2-year-old U.S. citizen deported. Did you hear about that one? Trump deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen, sometimes reported as having cancer, sometimes not. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. First of all, the 2-year-old's mother was lawfully deported from the U.S. The 2-year-old's father is not married to the mother, and in the relevant state, Louisiana, does not currently have parental rights over that child. So when they asked the mother, listen, you're getting deported. You're here illegally. You don't have permission to stay in the U.S. What do you want to do with your 2-year-old? You want to abandon her or you want to bring her with you? And the mother reasonably enough said, I'd like to bring my 2-year-old with me. Frankly, even the claims that the 2-year-old is a U.S. citizen are subject to question because I'm sure they're basing that on the fact that she was probably born in the U.S. And everybody believes the lie that simply being born in the U.S. makes you a U.S. citizen under the 14th Amendment birthright citizenship clause. There is no such thing Nobody is an American citizen simply because they were born on American soil. As I've covered many times before, children inherit the nationality of their parents. So unless one of these two parents was an American citizen, this 2-year-old is not an American citizen either. But even if we pretend that she is, the mother wanted the 2-year-old to come with her. That's not a forcible deportation of a 2-year-old. If these progressives did not have lies to tell, they would have nothing to say at all. It's contemptible. Thanks for watching this highlight segment of our full-length Law of Self-Defense live stream. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to give us a like and subscribe for more expert analysis on politics, law, and how to be hard to convict. And to watch the full-length episode of this show, just click right here. Stay safe.